Hi folks, you're with Tassus today, your pushback channel. In this essay, I'd like to talk about how the law has been or is being altered across the Western world to be an ideological construct, facts, evidence, equality under the law, equality before the law, the rules of evidence, due legal process. All these sorts of things are simply being thrown out the window, ignored, discarded in favour of an ideological view of the law. Now, the law in turn, or the practitioners of law, whereas the judges and so on, increasingly they're being, the judges that applied the law are being replaced by activists who believe the law is a tool or a device to bring about social change. So facts don't matter, evidence doesn't matter. The idea of treating people equally before the law is laughable to these folks, these activists. And this is where I'd like to sort of go on this, because I'd like to talk about just how bad these things are getting. Now, this is a divorce case. So now everyone in the court process, everyone is an activist. No one is an independent or impartial practitioner. So all the the legal aid lawyers, the judge, the social workers, everyone involved in this is an activist. There is not one person who you could say was independent or wants to be independent. They see the divorce process as a way to intercept the social structure of society and change it. Now, to their mind, change it for the better, because we all know that the nuclear family, with the higher income earning, breadwinning sort of father husband, we know that is evil. Fascist Nazi, Hitler support that. Hitler supports that. So we know it just has to go. We can't have it staying around. And the new family structure of lesbians and three mums or this or that, that sort of thing, that's the way to go, or gay or whatever. But the idea of the heterosexual family unit is, by ideological definition, their definition, it is a device of oppression for women. How women are oppressed? Well, it's kind of ideological, and so they have to invent things like all men are wife beating, child abusing, all that. So they have to invent these problems to say, well, that's why it's bad. Now, who is making all this stuff up? Well, they're the activists who are saying that these are the problems, and then they're saying, well, we're going to do something about it as well. So one group of activists pass the problem over to another, and that's sort of how, in this instance at least, is the starting point to this court case. Now, essentially one party has to take full responsibility, 110% responsibility for anything they do or have done or even might do. They have to ideologically be burdened with the guilt of centuries past. You're a straight white male. Straight white males are the arch oppressors, and you're a straight white male, and we're going to make sure you get your comeuppance, you damn fascist Nazi. So regardless of what evidence there is or isn't, it doesn't matter. The facts don't fucking matter. You are a straight white male, and you will carry that guilt of centuries past, because ideologically we say we don't have to prove it. We don't have to prove you're the oppressor, or you committed an act of oppression, or that your father or grandfather. We don't have to prove any of that. Ideologically, you're fucking guilty, and we're going to make sure you get screwed because of it. You damn fascist Nazi. So it's an ideological construct. Now, the other side of it is the woman who is an oppressed class, and particularly if you're in contest, that brings it into starker relief when you're in legal contest. So she's the oppressed class. She's the victim. Now, so therefore, no matter what she does, it's somehow a response or an extension of her victimhood. Thus, it must not be penalised. She cannot be held accountable because she's an oppressed class. So even if she does commit criminal acts, she's not accountable. She has no agency because of her oppression. Whereas, even if he has committed no crime, done nothing wrong, done nothing bad, is blameless in every way, it doesn't matter, because ideologically he's guilty. Don't you see? So this is how the case sort of unfolds. Now, turns out of the three children, two of them are not his children. So she's been engaging in intimate relations with plenty of other men, and so the court, this is the divorce court. Divorce court admits, and even it's sort of terms like moral turpitude are even used, and so they admit that she's been, having extra liaisons and that sort of thing, and he hasn't. But that doesn't matter because really, he kind of, because he sort of made her do it somehow, because ideologically he was oppressing her in a way that just can't be defined or explained or proved, but he was, so he kind of made her do it. So it's not really her fault that she did it. Now, even though there's the two children by, two different other guys, it's still decided that he should pay the child support for all of them. Well, why? Well, because he believed at one point that they were his children. And because she successfully duped him into believing that, that's not deceit by her or treachery or moral turpitude. It's nothing by her. She's not to blame. She's the oppressed one. So because he was duped and suckered into believing they were his children, he therefore must accept that responsibility. And anyway, he should be responsible for social fatherhood, what they call social fatherhood, because he's such an oppressor, such a fascist Nazi. He should be made to pay anyway as compensation for his wicked, evil, fascist Nazi ideological status. Don't you get it? So then it goes on. She kills the family dog. Now. Even admits the dog liked the husband or the ex-husband, so felt like killing it. And well, it's still not her fault. She's still someone of impeccable character, good character, because really, again, it was kind of the oppression and the ideology, and did a couple of Marxist phrases, juggle a few balls in the air, and really, it was kind of his fault as well. But she's not to blame for that. She is not to blame. She is an oppressed victim, and she is not to blame. And he really did it, so or made it happen, or somehow ideologically created the environment for her to do, which means she's not guilty of it or something like that. They're very vague on this. It's all ideological and so on. But because they're all activists, all bouncing off each other in this sham scam of a court, then sort of everyone's yeah, that's right, yeah, ideology, a couple of Marxist phrases between each other, and it's a done deal. Moving on to the next thing. So. So the woman was caught out multiple times committing, some serious perjury. But is that her fault? No, it's not. Again, she's oppressed and she's under stress because she has to be in court because he made her do it. Him, that straight white male. Is he a Christian as well? Well, he kind of is. He swore on the Bible, so he's got to be a goddamn Christian. And if he's that, it means he's a fucking Nazi. So there's that. And so she gets a free pass for that, and then conspires with she conspires with another party to commit perjury in court, and that's found out. So this is pretty serious. Guys have gone to prison for doing this, but is it her fault? Well, not really. Again, she's oppressed, and so she. It's still somehow he made her do it. No one really knows how. No one can explain it, but he did, and so it goes. So it goes on, and she was, constantly disrupting his access to the kids, but like contact visits, visitation and all that sort of thing. But was that her fault? Well, no, not really, because she was demanding money in excess of the child support and school fees and that sort of stuff, and he disagreed with. So really, it's his fault. He made her do it. It's not her. It's not her fault for being vindictive or anything like that. She was only responding to his evilness, his Nazi, fascist, straight white evilness. So well, it's not really her fault either. So at the end of it all, then it's decided that he is an evil fucking bad guy, and she is a blameless victim, part of the oppressor class. Now, when we look at various sort of court cases around the place, here's a recent one, and some may say that the sentence that Jussie Smollett got was, under the circumstances, amazingly light. And given he's showing no remorse whatsoever, and is still denying, the whole thing, and some very powerful people put him up to it, in my view, which is why I think he's getting the light sentence. But he's, some people would say, well, gee whiz, what if a white guy tried that on? What if a couple of white guys had actually been caught doing that? They'd be doing serious time in prison. Look at that. George Floyd had a deadly amount of drugs in his body that would have killed him regardless. Yet somehow a police officer gets jailed for murder when the guy was going to die anyway from the amount of drugs in his body. I mean, like why is it? Why have we got this sort of situation where alleged oppressed groups, and I stress alleged, are not responsible for what they do or have substantially reduced responsibility, whereas straight white people are supposed to carry a double burden of accountability for what they do. And if there's even the slightest way they can be ideologically determined to be guilty, then that's it. They're going down. They're doing time. So ideology has clearly replaced, in many situations, certainly where there's race and gender interaction, or competition, or in competition in court, wherever there's that, the ideology just comes straight in and takes over. The facts just stop mattering once the ideology comes in. And given the amount of legal activists that are now being deliberately placed on the court, and deliberately put in like public prosecutors and defenders departments, that sort of thing, given that the amount of activism there, activists going in there, people who don't give a fuck about the law or know much about it, they're just there to screw over the evil white oppressor. Because of that, we've now got a situation where the law is coming close to meaning nothing anywhere. Maybe that the Supreme Court is the last place where it will mean something. And even that's under assault. So we need to really think about how we can take back the legal system, so that there's nothing, in my view, there's nothing more perfect and reliable. Or it's not perfect, that's the wrong word. That if you're looking for justice, the real issue is the facts. The facts matter. So if someone says, you robbed the bank, say, fine, you prove it in a court of law. In a court of law, you bring the evidence in there to an impartial judge and jury, and you prove it. And if you can't, you get the fuck out of my face. So the law, equality under the law, that if I get arrested for an allegation robbing a bank, you get arrested as well for the same allegation, or question, or whatever it might be. And then in court, your evidence has as much weight as mine or anyone else's who's party to the proceedings, and the facts matter. And we've lost. The globalists want the facts just taken out. They want ideology everywhere because that gives them bigger control. That gives them more control, and that's what they want. And we've really got to push back against this and push back hard. You've been with Tacitus today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.